Okay, I know it's going to gross everybody out, and it's completely counterintuitive to my entire personality, but I love Valentine's Day. I love it. I think everything should be celebrated. I want to scream from the rooftops and tell everyone who I love that I love them. And there's room for it. The world is screaming out for love. And so are the Indianapolis Colts. There was a bit of a love connection made this morning in Indianapolis. They filled their coaching vacancy with offensive coordinator from the Eagles, Shane Steichen. So we're going to break that down with Zach Keefer from The Athletic. Excited to have him. He covers the Colts. Plus, I will bring you Justin Herbert. And I play matchmaker with free agents and players who might just find the love. Hamilton and Conrad back there in the control room rolling their eyes that I love Valentine's Day. I'm sure I love it. I don't care what anybody else to say about it. Tweet us at Up and Adam Show. We are back in Los Angeles on this Valentine's Day, and we do have some breaking news this morning we will get to. The Colts, guys, they are making it official. Putting a ring, well, not a ring, maybe a promise ring, maybe not even that. Offensive coordinator Shane Steichen, you're up. Come in here and fix this mess. Fresh out the NFC Championship season for the Eagles, Steichen called shots for Philly's number 3 ranked offense. Now, granted, he had a Jalen Hurts and he had the number 1 offensive line pretty much all season long. And he had, the Miles Sanders, who didn't do much in the Super Bowl, but had a pretty great season. The Boston Scotts, the Devontae Smith Heisman Trophy winners, and the A.J. Brown acquisitions of the NFL and of the Eagles to play with. What will he have in Indy, and how hard will that be to turn around? Let's do it. Steichen, he really helped Jalen Hurts blossom into a star. So let's see if he can do that with another developing young quarterback, a Colts team that currently holds the number 4 overall pick. So for more on this news, and happy Valentine's Day to Zach Keefer covering this team for The Athletic. Zach, we got you on last minute. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Let's do it. Finally, this coaching search is over.
Okay, so, this name was thrown around a lot. When you finally heard that it was official, how did it make you feel?
Well, personally, thankful that it's over. This was a long, extensive coaching search, one of the longest the NFL's seen in a long time, right? Like 35 days, 13 candidates were interviewed, 21 separate interviews, including like 132 hours with these guys. Like, this is as long as we've seen in a long time. But the obvious answer is they need offense, right? They've got the number 4 pick. They're going to go quarterback. They're not going to go get someone on the free agent market. It's time to go young. They're tired of the carousel. This makes a lot of sense, and it's the 3rd time in a row the Eagles and Colts have swapped OCs, right? Frank Reich was hired from Philly, Nick Sirianni was hired from the Colts, and now the Colts are just keeping it going by hiring Shane Steichen from Philly.
Well, it sounds like, to put this in Valentine's Day terms, the Colts have a type. They have that Eagles type, and they're dating him again, but maybe in a different situation. They hired Reich in 2018 after he won that Super Bowl as the OC. The Eagles lose in this one. But when you're saying that you're excited that this is over, like when you're on Hinge or Tinder or whatever it is, and you are going on 13 dates, 13 people they interviewed. What makes Steichen, in your opinion, with what you know, the best fit out of the 13 they interviewed?
Well, you're right, Kay. They do have a type, right? And honestly, that's my type if I'm a football team. I mean, you look what Shane Steichen did this last year with Jalen Hurts, taking him from a guy who struggled a lot in that playoff game last year to the Bucs and to the MVP runner-up to Patrick Mahomes. And you look at what they did in the playoffs, 1,000 yards of offense in 3 games, 35 points a game. That makes sense, right? And so my understanding is why this takes so long. It's because the Colts weren't going for a big fish right away. They understood that since they weren't going after Sean Payton and they weren't going after Jim Harbaugh, there was no need to rush it. So they're willing to go on all those dates, right, and see who they liked. And Chris Ballard said something really interesting at the beginning. The GM said, don't start this process with an end in mind. They didn't have an end in mind like last time when they hired Josh McDaniels and that blew up in their face. This time they let the process play out, and here we are on Valentine's Day. 6 weeks in, they finally have their guy.
Love is in the air for the Colts. I like optimism. I like this Colts team. Zach Keefer, we appreciate you. I know you're at the facility, excited for that intro press conference at the top of the hour, and you'll be covering it for The Athletic, where we can see all of your work on this team. I want to ask you about, the glaring thing. You date somebody, you like them, it all looks like it'll work out, but there's, he lives with his mom. He can't keep a job. Those guys, they don't have a quarterback. That's what you look at the Colts and say, where is the quarterback? Although they can invest and get a young cat in the draft. What do you make of that with the quarterback thing and potentially working its way out of what has been a bad situation for the Colts in that regard?
Yeah, to play along with your analogy, they're tired of dating, right? They've been on this carousel for 5 years. The owner's tired of it, right? After Andrew Luck retired in 2019, they really haven't recovered yet. They have in parts. But look, it was Jacoby Brissett, then it was Phillip Rivers, then it was Carson Wentz, then it was Matt Ryan, then it was Sam Ehlinger, then it was Nick Foles, then it was Matt Ryan. It's been a long couple of years in this city. They're tired of doing the short-term thing and finding someone's quarterback off the scrap heap. They're not going to go get Derek Carr. They might sign a bridge veteran, but the real play that's going to happen is with that fourth pick in the draft. And they might even move up. They might even move up to number 1 if they really like Bryce Young or if they need to do that to get the guy. But look, they're tired of the short-term play. They're going to go long-term, and that's why Shane Steichen was hired, because he was really good with Justin Herbert early in his career in Los Angeles. He was really good with Phillip Rivers before that, and then he's been really good with Jalen Hurts. So Shane Steichen's proven he can do it with QBs of very different skill sets, right? And that's what they're banking on moving forward. It's going to be a long road. It's going to be a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback, but they're banking on what these guys can become in the next couple of years.
They could take their own guy at number 4, or you're suggesting potentially moving up. We'll see what the Bears have. They have Justin Fields, so maybe they'll be willing to move down. And here we are, 2 days out of Super Bowl. I'm still tired. I'm still hungover. And here we are already talking about what they're going to do in April, this team. But congratulations to you on finally ending the dating and finally moving forward with Shane Steichen, who will be introduced as you. I mean, you're suited, booted, and ready to go. How long have you been there this morning?
I've been here for an hour, but really I've been waiting for this to happen for 5 weeks. So finally I can get on with my life a little bit.
Yes. Enjoy it, Zach. Enjoy it. Zach Keefer covering The Athletic. We appreciate you, and we'll be looking for your insights along the way. We also, on the Eagles side, since we're still sort of reveling in the Super Bowl, I literally can't say this. Thanks, Zach. I can't even look at Marissa. And when I say that, I mean it. Like, Marissa just brought me coffee, and I yesterday show up to set, and none of us have slept in a week. And I can't make eye contact with Marissa because I can feel the heartbreak of this consummate, passionate Eagles fan to my left. It is like a heat map, and it is just, I'm just feeling the rays and the strays. How are you feeling this morning?
Not good.
Still not good.
Not good.
This is gonna be a process, huh?
Yeah.
How are we gonna make this better?
Give me 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. Well, we're gone next week, so you're gonna go on a vacation and do whatever you need to do. But I'm telling you, I know that Conrad probably can't talk to me. Conrad, I can't look at Marissa because for fear, not that I'll daggers or anything, because I don't think I did anything, but like I'm wearing red today, and I'm like, it's for Valentine's Day, it's not for the Chiefs, it's not for the Chiefs, it's for Valentine's Day. So Eagles fans, we see you, we love you. We'll take a short break here. Appreciate Zach Keefer. We've got some Valentine's Day fun. We'll have fun with the Eagles, some love to Jalen Hurts and company with what he did under Shane Steichen, the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. We'll be back. We like to do underreactions on our show. We've got lots to talk about with the Super Bowl. Of course, the Chiefs will be celebrating their parade. Marissa, come over here. She didn't know this is happening. Come sit with me. Hi. Marissa, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I walked in and gave her a kiss on her forehead because I don't know what to do, because you are on our show and you will speak to all of the Eagles fans and how they are feeling. Now, you feel a little better this morning.
I do. The one day gave me some clarity. I'm really happy that we got sleep for once. I slept in my own bed.
I'm still asleep, I think. Go ahead.
I finally went on Twitter this morning. I didn't go on at all yesterday. I couldn't do it. I'm getting better day, little by little,
what
minute
was
by
the vibe
minute.
at the stadium? Like, what happened?
Horribleness.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I left as soon as the field goal was kicked. I sprinted out of there.
You just didn't want to see any of it.
No.
You're like, I'm not seeing the confetti. If I don't see the confetti, it didn't happen.
And even like when we were walking, Eagles fans were like, "Go Birds," in the most sad tone.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
You cried?
Oh, I shed a tear.
You guys, Marissa cried.
Look at this.
I know.
Look at my man.
I will say, I was watching when they said hi to each other, and Travis is like, I don't know what to say, big guy. And Jason's like, just go celebrate, man. I'm proud of you, big dog. I'm big dog. I don't know what to say to you. Marissa, big dog, I don't know what to say to you.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Okay, so we're going to take this day by day.
Yes.
I'm going to give you something to be excited about. Why don't you this is for you. This is for Marissa.
Oh, thanks so much.
See, look, here's crying Sirianni. We got this. Yeah, that was Marissa. That's all Eagles fans this morning. Well, this was a classic game, and we will look back at this and hopefully fondly on the Eagles, because as Patrick Mahomes, a generational talent, said, it's losing the Super Bowl that made me win this and appreciate it all that much more. So, through the first 56 Super Bowls, history has never been kind to runner-ups. It's true. So we want to take up some time to, make sure that we're not underreacting to Jalen Hurts, his performance, what he is to this team, what he is to anybody wanting to be anything in any regard, in any respect in their lives. You want to be great? This is greatness. This was a legendary performance that we witnessed. He set a Super Bowl record, 70 rushing yards at the quarterback spot, tied another with 3 rushing touchdowns. He, of course, also put up over 300 through the air and another score there as well. And I talked yesterday about Mahomes battling through injuries, people. Let us not forget about Jalen Hurts' shoulder and all of this, too. By every indication, whether it was the eye test, watching him against the Niners, you can kind of tell it wasn't right. Ian Rappaport of NFL Media, he had a bit of news on Sunday morning, or really his own admission from Jalen. Jalen and his injury were still very much a factor for him in this game, and still, he strung together one of the greatest efforts that we've seen from a quarterback in all of Super Bowl history on Sunday. And it wasn't just the numbers. He was lacing some absolute dots in tight spots here. This was as sharp as I've seen him look as a passer. I mean, you have Sirianni crying before the game, talking to the reporters after the game, saying this is the best game I've ever seen out of him. I'm not the only one that noticed either, and neither was Sirianni, and neither was Marissa McBride. Listen to Patrick Mahomes, what he had to say after the game.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now. I mean, the way he stepped up on this stage and ran through the ball, whatever it took for his team to win, I mean, that was a special performance that I don't want it to get lost in the loss that they had. I mean, even whenever we got all the momentum in that game and we went up 8 points in the fourth quarter, for him to respond and move his team right down the football field and run it in himself for the 2-point conversion, it was a special performance by him, man. And, I mean, you make sure you appreciate that when you look back on this game.
I'm trying to imagine the amount of offers that Patrick Mahomes has to do any sort of media, a podcast. I mean, I could listen to Patrick Mahomes all day, and I love that he, in his winning moment, took a lot of time to acknowledge that, and he's absolutely right. All Jalen did since he was a freshman at Alabama is say, shut up and prove new batches of doubters wrong year after year. And it seems like every season, these losers come up with new knocks on him, and he finds new ways to tell them to all bite him. It's crazy. We saw something really special on Sunday night, and the ultimate result and the Eagles' defensive struggle shouldn't diminish what Jalen has done for himself in this league, or for anybody who's doubted and wants to say, shut up to the world. And beyond impressive play in that game, the way that Jalen handles himself before, during, and after is impressive as well. So listen to him with the renowned Eagles 15-year-old podcaster, Giovanni, who we've known and loved on the show. This is after the loss.
I think the beautiful part about it is everyone experiences different pains. Everyone experiences different agonies of life. But you decide if you want to learn from it. You decide if you want to use that to be a teachable moment. And I know what I'll do.
Jalen looked him right in the eyes, and said that it was important to give him that message. I could use that message. I could print that out, put it on a magnet, and make money. I could put that in and read that every day I wake up, because it's so true, and it tells you about everything that you need to know about Jalen as a man, as a person, as a leader. These post-loss press conferences can get the best of even the most composed players they can got. We've seen it over and over and over. There's emotions in every play. So watching that, and Mahomes really, it shows you why these quarterbacks' teammates would run for a brick wall for them, and why Jalen specifically is this leader as they try to rebound and make a run at this thing next year. And it's not going to be easy, because yes, they lose Steichen, and yes, they lose Gannon, and they got to figure out Miles Sanders. And then is Jason Kelce retiring? It sure smells like he is. And then you've got Bradbury, you've got Gardner, you've got all these guys to deal with. And reshuffle, but I trust that Jalen is that dude. I mean, Jason Kelce wasn't going to come back, and then he wanted to come back to be with Jalen, so he has that sort of effect, and it's so important to recognize that before we move on to the parade and then move on to the Bryce Youngs of the world as we head towards the combine and the draft. So Sirianni, love what I heard from him during the postgame as well. He gave really important information and context to Jalen's performance as well.
I thought it was his best game that he's played. And it wasn't just, this game. It was this entire season that he's shown to be a special leader, a special player, and I'm sure glad that he's our quarterback. I know he's going to get better from this. And he played really good, and that's why I keep saying I don't think we know what Jalen's ceiling is, right? Because he just can continue to get better.
I just mentioned all those guys. There's 9 starters to hit free agency, and there's already losers having the audacity to question, can Jalen do it again? Can he do it without all the talent that was around him? I'm just going to remind you, or I could just replay what he said, but where all this talk about Mahomes being 27, Jalen is 24 years old. Jalen is still just scratching the surface of giving Eagles fans a future that they can look into dynastically as well. And there's comfort in the silver lining, I think, of his success this year. So I think Eagles fans should be feeling really well. Howie Roseman, I love him. I talk about it on the show a lot, what he's able to do. Jalen made a statement in the Super Bowl. He said, I will be right back here, and I have no reason to think that he won't be. So Eagles fans should be feeling badly, but not too badly, because I think that they have such a great chance to be right back in the mix next season and for years to come. I'll also say we're underreacting to Andy Reid, and let's get into it here. And I know it's all about Big Andy and that cheeseburger, but I went through my entire career covering sports and even being a fan before I really got into it. My entire career was the lazy narrative that Andy Reid is a good coach, not a great coach. He's a good coach, but he can't win the big one. And this was the label. This was if there was a Real Housewives of NFL coaches, that Andy Reid, I'm a good coach, but I can't win the big game. That would be his damn tagline, people. And it followed him through his whole I just made Marissa laugh, and that made me so happy. God. His entire tenure in Philadelphia, because he got to the big game, didn't do it. 5 NFC Championship games without appearances to try to fight it out for a Lombardi, and it followed him in his early seasons in Kansas City too. The Chiefs had some real bad losses in the playoffs. So Big Red finally shed that label, of course, in Super Bowl 54. But I don't think that it was looked at in the same lens as the Lombardis and the Landrys and the Belichicks after he did that. Like, it didn't erase everything. It kind of did, but ring number 2, it really changes the game. I can't say it enough. I think we have to start considering his argument as the greatest coach of all time. And I don't think any Eagles fans are going to resent that I'm saying this. Look at what he accomplished to this point. These numbers are, I want to say bananas. They're cheeseburgers. These numbers are absolute cheeseburgers. He now ranks top 5 in pretty much every coaching category, having an extended run of success with 2 separate franchises, different guys, different staffs, different adversity. That makes it all the more impressive. Only 4 guys have won more Super Bowls. He is second in playoff wins. He's tied with Tom Landry. Do you understand? Tied with Tom for 3rd in playoff appearances. Just one behind Bill Belichick and Don Shula. Now, if you were playing around over at FanDuel Sportsbook, where would you put your money? On Belichick getting to another one? Or on Andy and Mahomes taking it? On Andy, 100%. Andy ranks top 5 in overall wins and Super Bowl appearances as well. This list is as impressive as it gets. And of course, yes, Mahomes is the engine. He's the catalyst that helped elevate him into this tier. But by Patrick's own admission, he wouldn't be the player he is right now hadn't he landed with Andy in KC. And I know that Hawaiian shirts and utility belts and cheeseburgers might not be the image people have in mind when they think of somebody who's on the cutting edge and constantly ahead of trends in the NFL. Andy, balanced Andy, by the way, with his run and pass in the Super Bowl. He's continuously evolved, reinventing himself throughout his tenure, and to me, that has been the key to all of the success. He does things we've never seen before and changes the way NFL offenses are built. At the same time, running all over you, pulling out plays like this. This is straight out of the 1950s. Are you kidding me? There's a Super Bowl hanging in the balance. We need to appreciate the greatness. And by the way, want to know who appreciates his greatness? Bang. His players do. Take a look at this.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. And I think everybody knew that. But these last 2 Super Bowls kind of cemented that. And to have someone that is such a great person who gets the best out of the players and to become men and players, you wanted to do that. You wanted to win those Super Bowls for them, and it was it's great that we did that. And like you said, man, we're not done. I'm gonna have them around here for a little bit longer at least.
I can't overstate just the obvious human part of this. When you are a human being in a position of power, managing personalities that are millionaires to be in that for 40 plus years, and basically I would have to do insane digging to find anyone who has anything negative to say about him who's been around or played with him. It doesn't exist. It is rave reviews, 5-star Yelps the entire time. And as Patrick just said, Super Bowl number 2 does launch him into a special class, and it gives every indication Sunday night at 64 that he's like, I'll come back. Why would he? He's going to come. This is amazing. Go beat Belichick. This is great. And he'll only continue to add to that legacy. And as you know, so let's put the fedora and the hoodie and the trench coat on notice. The Tommy Bahama is working its way into the conversation as the GOAT. All right, that's it. I don't know why I'm pointing my finger on this Valentine's Day. What are you doing for Valentine's Day? Here's my question. People will put this on Twitter. Maybe we'll have Connor talk about it. What do men want for Valentine's Day? Like not like a sexual way. Jesus, Marissa just looked at me crazy. But like, am I sending flowers to an office? Am I getting like, what is the perfect gift? PG-13. All right, R-rated. We'll talk about it after this. Ow. We'll be back. Justin Herbert up next. That was a great transition. I know you don't care about social media. I know you don't look at things because that's just not you. I don't have to even know you personally to know that. What did you make of the social media quarterback campaign? What are your thoughts on that right now? Oh, this looks like a romantic. Oh, okay. I thought it was a Valentine's Day. It's not. It's a 2022 NFL script for the Chargers season. Oh, I like this. Ritualistic. New pages, new lives, new energy. Same coach. Same quarterback, we'll see. Justin Herbert, in that script, he's ready to stay the main character for those Chargers in 2023. He's got some new supporting guys around him as well. We got to catch up with Justin Herbert. As you'll see, we literally had nowhere to do this interview. He was supposed to be live on the show. It unfortunately couldn't happen. So we run across from where we were at Media Row into it was Marissa and Taylor's hotel room. With Hamilton, Taylor's on the bathroom and the floor clipping the show to post it, and I'm sitting in a chair between two beds talking to Justin Herbert. Take a look.
Herbert, what a throw, and it is caught. Herbert is unbelievable.
Great year. Of course you want to go deep into the playoffs. Of course you want to be playing in the Super Bowl, but as a Chargers stan and a fan, the amount of pressure, not just on yourself, but the weight of this entire franchise to get that first playoff berth, how unburdening, Justin, did that feel?
I thought it was a great opportunity for us to be able to get there. And we dealt with our fair share of adversity this year and injuries, tight losses and things like that. But for us to be able to get there, I thought that was a huge step for us. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way. We would have loved to have gone farther in the playoffs. But I know that we've got the guys, we've got the coaching staff, to be able to figure that out in the future. So I'm really looking forward to this offseason.
So what's like one specific thing that you personally are working on to get further next year?
Yeah, I think it starts with learning this new offense. We just recently hired Kellen Moore, really excited to get to work with him. Got to learn all about what he wants, what he does. And so this offense will be big to pick up these next couple of weeks. So really looking forward to being able to do that. What
have the conversations with Moore been like so far?
It's been great. We kind of grew up in a similar area. He's from Washington. And so grew up watching him play at Boise State, talked about where he's been, where he's coached, where he's played as well. And so we've got so much respect for him as a coach, as a player, and just really excited to get to work with him.
I know you don't have the playbook or any of that down, but you guys have had conversations. You said that you're excited about it. What do you think is going to be different now that Kellen Moore is in the building?
That's a good question. I think that's something that remains to be seen. He's obviously got the respect of the NFL. Haven't seen the playbook yet, and so that's something that we'll get into. But love the tempo that they play with. They're able to get guys open and get the ball going.
Does a good job, as he always does, working the progressions. But here you see that wrapped up right as he releases it, and he comes down.
And Herbert needs some help in getting up. Look out. Holding his rib cage and uh-oh.
Now, the season's over, so we can be honest about things. How much did it impact your play out there?
I think the ribs early on were pretty tough. It's kind of a discomfort that I had to deal with for, 6 or 7 weeks. But as that got better, time healed.
Everyone I talk to about you specifically says toughness is your defining characteristic. Is toughness your defining characteristic as a quarterback?
I'd like to think so. I think that as a quarterback and as a teammate, you need to be able to put everything on the line. And even when you don't feel great and when you don't want to play and you don't want to go to practice, you need to be able to go out there and give your best, because your teammates deserve that. The team, the fans that follow the team, they deserve that. And so for me, it was important to be out there and to go play and give everything I had. And, I think my dad taught me that growing up. So I'm thankful to have a guy like that in my life.
I know you don't care about social media. I know you don't look at things because that's just not you. I don't have to even know you personally to know that. What did you make of the social media quarterback campaign? What are your thoughts on that right now?
I actually didn't follow it. And so that's one of the things that I think teammates brought up to my attention after. And this is what they said, and this is what was going on. And, I think as a quarterback, you can't look too much into that because so many people have so many different opinions. And if you start listening to one, you got to start listening to them all. And so what's most important is what my family, what my coaches, what my teammates think. And so if it's not going on in that building, you try to limit your focus and not give it too much attention.
If you don't look at the outside noise and you don't look at the social media quarterback jersey printed with that on the back of it, what motivates Justin Herbert?
It's just being the best quarterback that I can be, being a great teammate for those guys. And I've got so much respect for everyone in that locker room, and they deserve the best. And so I want to go out there and give them my best shot. It's all about winning football games and doing your best. And, unfortunately we fell short this year, but it's going out and competing, having fun, and realizing that you get to play a game for your living.
Besides your name, which is on the back of your jersey, and the only thing that should be on the back of your jersey, what word or phrase would you have printed out on the back of your 2023 Chargers jersey? One message that you would like to send to the world?
I think it's our way. And, that's something that Coach Staley has said for the past couple of years. And we're going to do things our way. And, we're going to compete. We're going to have, great relationships with our teammates. We're going to push each other, and, we're going to have fun at the same time. And we're going to do all these things and hopefully win football games. And we have to be better than we were last year. But, I think we got the guys, we've got the coaching staff. So I'm really looking forward to this offseason.
You talk like a veteran. You're still kind of a young cat in this league. I got to ask you, who is the biggest pain in your butt? I'm actual person that you have faced that just pain in your butt.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we've got a bunch of pass rushers in the AFC West, and I think Max Crosby, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, those guys, Bradley Chubb as well. This past year, I know he's in Miami now, but those guys are able to get after the passer and definitely make my job pretty tough.
Let's start with the jersey.
So it's a Lowe's Home Team jersey, and Lowe's Home Team actually is a community initiative, 5-year, $100 million investment by Lowe's to help the community in which it serves. And then I'm a part of the team, thankfully, and it's been an honor because this past year I worked on a Kid City Breezeway project that brought a unused area, converted it into a beautiful outdoor area for an after-school program.
Why was it important for you, Justin, to partner with Lowe's?
I've had so much fun being a part of this partnership because what they've been able to do in the community has been huge. And that's one of those things that I've really tried to do these past couple of years of having this platform as an athlete. You can use it for the better. And Lowe's is one of those companies that has done such a great job in the previous years of its, conception. And, I've had so much fun being a part of it. And if I can help out however I can, especially this past year with the Kid City Breezeway project, it's been a lot of fun and doing a lot of good. So it's exciting to see.
Now, what were you actually doing for that project, right? It was an unused, gated, sort of dead area between Kid City, and there was a neighborhood apartment building, I understand. What, were you out there with a tool belt? Were you Tim Allen and Home Improvement out there, Binfording things up? Probably don't even know what that is. Do you even know what Home Improvement is, Justin?
Yeah, so I actually grew up watching that show a little bit, so I know of it, but was out there, using the power washer, cleaning the walls, clearing the walkway. Didn't do a ton of work, but was out there, and so I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Justin, if you were a tool or something that is sold in Lowe's, what would you be?
Maybe a utility belt. I don't know. I think.
Some commotion for the answer. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Everybody watching this can go nominate. It's until February 20th. It's Lowe's Hometowns. Go to lowes.com/hometowns. We'll get everybody all the information they need. But I want to ask you about Eugene. A quick little game here. I want just first thing that comes to mind. Your favorite restaurant in Eugene?
Killer Burger.
That was quick.
I actually had it last night, so it didn't take too much effort.
Ice cream spot?
Prince Bucklers.
Favorite football field?
Autzen Stadium.
Favorite memory in Eugene?
It would have been winning a baseball state championship in 2016 with all my high school friends.
Justin, thank you for your time. You're awesome. Thanks, guys, for the time, and we appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
What a tough dude. And I respect the fact that Justin took the time, but also does a lot of good for his community. But also, I want to say I like that he tunes things out, right? And I do believe that. I think people say, like, oh, I don't hear the noise. And I think Justin's a different cat. Like, I think he doesn't use his phone. I think he doesn't want to. I just think that's how he's wired. Given what has happened this year, though, I do wish he'd lean into a little bit more. The social media quarterback thing, like, we love he teed it up for you to get motivation from that. Like, he's feeding that, and I hope that would work, and it doesn't seem to. And we've seen the power of said bulletin board material providing motivation and fuel. The Bengals thrived off of it. Then the Chiefs did versus the Bengals. So, and then you have, I'm not kidding, Patrick Mahomes saying the offensive line was hearing an awful lot about that defensive line. It all matters, and he's such a good guy, and it's impossible to not respect that. But maybe it's not the worst thing, Justin, just some advice for me to you to let a little bit of that noise in and let you take it to a different level, just as long as you're not punching any more walls. Is there a player in the NFL, not even a quarterback, is there a player who you would pick last more than Justin Herbert to punch through a wall? Do you know the resistance it took for me to be like, what was the story? I need because then I knew, like, the lows people are on, and then his people, and I'm playing that, but I was like, I need to know. What would cause you to punch through a wall?
That's so much. I feel like boys do that, though.
Think of I've been around it a bunch of times before, unfortunately. And it's never been a good situation. It's never been valid. I need to hear that story. But he's got such a bright future, and that matters, of course. And with what he's doing with the addition of Kellen Moore, who he's clearly excited about, this offense is hopefully going to go to new heights. And so if you want to support all of Lowe's community improvement projects, and you can, it's Valentine's Day, so it's the 14th. You have 6 more days to get involved. You can go to lowes.com/hometowns now. Listen to me. You have until February 20th to nominate a local hometown project near you. Coming up right next here, it's Valentine's Day. So we're going to play matchmakers. Nobody knows about functional relationships more than I do, so let's do it. Ooh. Happy Valentine's Day to Tagboard. Tagboard, we love you. Oh, loving you is oh so cool. Youngway. Wow, what are we listening to? Little Hootie? I'm dead. Cincinnati Bengals, will you T mine? Love T. Higgins. Will you be my Valentine? I get it. Those last two. T. Higgins, were you at the Super Bowl? You didn't even, I didn't see you? We didn't have one Bengal on our show last week. I don't know. I didn't love that. Josh Allen, was he at Media Row? He was somewhere. We didn't get him, though. I'm saying no. I don't want to be your Valentine. I want you to come on our show. No, today's V-Day, and there's no better time to make a true love connection. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone, including Matthew Hamilton, who's here to talk about and break down a couple of free agents and big-name players who could be on the move to new teams this season. They all need dates. They all need new partners. They want a ring, Hamilton. They want a ring, and we're going to try to find them because there's nobody that knows the inner workings of functional relationships better than you and I.
Oh, yeah, totally. Everything's been great.
That's you and me.
Yeah.
Okay, first up. Wow, what is this? This is not Valentine's Day music. This is like agent provocateur music. What is happening right now? Okay. Oh, this guy. Oh, this is going to take... Wow, I didn't realize we were getting right into the hard work here.
Oh, boy.
This is heavy lifting. This man is an enigma. I don't know what this man wants. I never do. He's flirted with leaving Green Bay before. What's in his heart, though? Does he want to see if the grass is actually greener? How could the grass be greener than the grass at Lambeau and on his uniform that he wears? He's apparently about to embark on some 4-day darkness retreat. Where does he want to play next season? Here's the options we got. We got the Raiders, we got the Jets. They're green. Or does he stay with the Packers? What do you got?
I kind of like the idea of him coming to New York. I think they've been searching for a really long time. They got Garrett Wilson for him. They got Breece Hall. There's going to be a lot of talent on that offense. He's got a great defense to back him up. And I just feel like he'll be appreciated so much in New York because they haven't had that guy for so long. Joe Namath already to give up his jersey number for him. I mean, the Jets are all in. They're all in on the courting process right now.
Yeah, here's my thing. The Jets, it kind of makes sense. Everyone's making those connections. He wants to be in the market in New York. I actually think he's not New York at all. I think he's not going to like it. He's going to move across the country for someone and then hate where he lives. And that's very familiar to me. So I don't think it's going to work. The Raiders. The Raiders, there's a lot of cute comparisons there to Devontae Adams. That's pretty toxic. That's pretty I think they went their separate ways. They're happy. They're not going to get back together. That's fine. Josh McDaniels I actually think is a really ill fit for Aaron Rodgers. I really would. I think that's those are two people that I would not invite to the same dinner party to hang out and try to have a good time. So I think he stays in what is true Aaron fashion, the most toxic situation possible, and that's staying in Green Bay. He's attracted to the toxicity.
Oh boy.
That drives him to need the 4-day darkness retreat, to go through all of this hoopla, only to end up still dating Green Bay Packers, to still be in that place trying to make it happen. I mean, he has a type. He has a limelight type. He's got if you look at his personal life and the things that we think we know, there's a type, and it doesn't always work, but he goes back to Green Bay. I just said a lot. Oh my God.
You definitely did. Yeah. Should we move on? Should we keep it going?
Yeah, but Aaron, we're happy for you. We want you to be happy, and I think your happiest place is with Christian Watson, where there was some good chemistry. He should stay in Green Bay, and I think he does. All right, next we have Lamar Jackson. Okay, this is a good one too. So, they didn't come to an agreement. Bashadi's saying all the nicest things, and then nobody was saying anything. And as the season came to a close, it seemed to get a little rocky. It seemed to get a little, there were Reddits about it. Just Jared was posting things. It was not good. There were some drama concerns about his availability to play in the Ravens' last games, whatever. We had Patrick Queen on. We talked to Mark Andrews at the Super Bowl. Here are your options. Raiders, Saints, Ravens. What's a good match?
I like him staying with the Ravens. Actually, we got some breaking news on them this morning as well. They just hired offensive coordinator Todd Monken, who was at Georgia, won 2 national championships there.
Okay.
But I think they have to step up their wooing process here as well for him. I think I want to see them add some more talent in the passing game. Like you talked about, they haven't done enough, I think, for him at receiver. His comments on Twitter, I think he wants them to open up the passing game a little bit more for him. So. And obviously there's the contract aspect of this as well. So they have to show him a little bit more love, but I still think the Ravens are the best option.
Got it. I just looked up the name of it. Remember that show $1 Million Matchmaker with Patty Stanger? And she had those bangs that were down to here, and she'd hook up the millionaires with their type or whatever they wanted. That's what I feel like, except it needs to be the $150 million matchmaker. That's the role that we're playing here. I like what you're saying about staying in Baltimore. And when you're in this situation, and it's funky, it's weird, it's a kind of unprecedented because Lamar truly is one of one. How do you set up this guy with a team for success? And when you do that and you're playing matchmaker, you want to hear from friends. You want to hear from people who are close to either party. And we talked to Mark Andrews at the Super Bowl. Here's what he said.
One thing that Lamar always preaches is that he's a Raven, and he wants to be a Raven. He loves the organization, loves the people, he loves the team. And so I'm hoping both sides can find a way to get it done because he's such a special player. He's one of my favorite people in the world. He's a great friend, a great person, and just a guy you always want to have around.
Who's the guy that plays the saxophone? The famous saxophonist. What is his name? Kenny G? Is that what his name? Kenny G. Yeah. Hamilton saying Kenny G. That's what we're listening to. And when you're hearing those words, there's a little Kenny G involved. If you look at Lamar, 45-16 is the Ravens starting quarterback, okay? 4 playoff appearances in 5 seasons. And to your point, yeah, they want to open up the passing game, but Hammer, this team is built for Lamar. There's not a better situation for Lamar, and it maybe messes with his leverage and his options a little bit. They got to get it going. Is this like the Instagram? Yeah, is that the Instagram sound? What am I hearing?
I don't know, but no, I think you're right. It's a relationship that's worked out really well. I don't think it's past the point of repair. You know, I think there's still a lot of love there, and they just gotta get on the same page. I'm all in.
Get on the same page and get him some receivers. I love it. All right, so we're both saying the best match is for Lamar to stick with the Ravens and get it done. All right, the last quarterback on our quest to find love connections on this Valentine's Day is Derek Carr. Let's look at this. Okay, very public. This is a public ass breakup. This is terrible. Okay, this is like the last thing you want. It was ugly. Everyone saw it. There's quotes flying around, and quite honestly, Derek doesn't deserve that from an organization that he took to the playoffs twice and helped usher the transition into Las Vegas when nobody wanted that to happen. But he is available. He's on the market, and I think we can find him a love connection today. So what do we think about these three teams? You got the Buccaneers. The Saints keep popping up here. The Saints are looking a little thirsty in our love connection segment. Like, calm down, Saints. Somebody will pick you. Or the Jets. I'm going to say, off the jump, I'm going to go Jets. As you've talked about before, Hammer, this situation. All right, Kenny G. The situation is set up well. I like the idea of Carr going to the Jets, especially over Aaron Rodgers, because it's not going to be all on Derek Carr. They've got the defense, they've got Saleh, the leader, they've got the run game, they've got the star wide receiver who we met and fell in love. We felt googly-eyed over Garrett Wilson. He can play to his strengths, run the offense, be accurate, not put the whole team on his back. And then when he's facing those stupid microphones, he's going to handle it more professionally than maybe any quarterback has there in the past 50 years. I said it. They are a playoff team. The Jets are a playoff team with Derek Carr. And they were 7-4 this year before the quarterback situation fell off the rails. So Derek is going to stabilize the presence. This is the guy, if he becomes single, let me tell you, if he becomes Derek Carr, like, you're telling all of your friends, you're finding your best friends and you're saying, this is the guy you date. Stable, consistent, wants to do right by everyone. Just don't make him do everything in the relationship. Just let him play to his strengths, and that's who he is. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's sounding like he's going to be single as of 4 p.m. today. There's supposed to be a lot of suitors, according to Ian Rappaport, so we're going to see how that plays out pretty soon here. But I kind of like the idea of him going to the Saints. We heard he blocked the trade this weekend, but wouldn't it be the ultimate move? Like, no, I'm not going to let you trade me and hurt the team I'm going to and make them give up draft picks. I'm going to wait for you to cut me and then go sign there anyway so they get to keep their picks. It's a little petty, but it's also smart. Like, you want the best team possible around you, but I'm all here for him making that move. I think that would be great. I think the Saints have a lot to offer him as well. Chris Olave, Kamara getting back to health. They have a good offensive line, a good defense. I think there's a lot there.
One of my least favorite parts of Super Bowl week was I saw Chris Olave and I was doing some TikTok thing and I go, Chris, like, I love you, and no idea who I was. Like, no, like, not that he should know who I am, but that he doesn't hear the love from our show. Like, we love Chris Olave, and he's like, cool suit. And I'm like, no, but Chris, you don't understand. We love you. And I just got, I got shafted. He swiped the other way. Okay, let's do this last one here. But yeah, you're right. That release is going to happen at 4 p.m. How about, let's go with a running back here. Oh, Saquon Barkley. Listen, this is a toughie. Running back stuff is always a toughie. And I find it hard to believe the Giants would just let Barkley out of their sweet embrace after what happened. But Joe Shane, Brian Dable, they want long-term relationships, right? This is like a hot and heavy vibe that goes on with running backs and teams. They dated last year and it worked out great, but to make a substantial commitment when you know that, like, he lives across the country or he lives, like, internationally, it's a hard thing to do. There's reasons to not do it. So you got the Bills, interesting. You got KC and Giants. Who you got? Oof.
It's hard for me to imagine him in any other uniform than the Giants uniform. There have been all these Photoshops out there. I saw him in a Bills jersey, and I got to be honest, it made me a little nauseous to see. I don't want to see. He's one of those guys, like, he's been so identifiable as the face of the Giants, and he's meant so much to that organization. Even through their struggles, he's just been such a leader and someone that's just been so easy for that fan base to root for. And as you said, he's meant so much to them on the field as well. I think he has some unfinished business here in New York, and I'd love to see him get the chance to get it done and see them through this rebuild.
Who can pay him? Like, when you're dating someone that's international, you got to buy those flights. You got to bring it. Like, he's going to cost a pretty penny. It might be more than it's worth. Who has the most money to pay him?
Yeah, I mean, the Bears have a ton of money, $94 million in projected cap space for next year, so that's a ton. I don't know if they go that direction. The Falcons have a lot. The Giants actually have the third most cap space, though, so they can find a way to make it work. Obviously, they have to pay Daniel Jones as well. So you know, those are two contracts that are going to eat up a lot of that $47 million. But
I say he leaves. I say he leaves. I don't think he was the entire Giants offense. He's their heartbeat. They don't find a way. I think he leaves, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills, they say we're one step away. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And they make like an emotional investment into Saquon Barkley and pay him the money that he wants. I mean, Conrad is rushing. We have nothing to do or talk about. Who cares? We're getting to the break right now because I actually do care what Conrad has to say about Valentine's Day. Appreciate you, Hammer. Some love connections. Conrad, run into the other room. We have things to speak about. Look at these. I love Valentine's Day. Time for Valentine's Day with Conrad Company. Conrad, our wonderful line producer, who's here now. Conrad, we have 1 minute. Your thoughts on Valentine's Day. I love it. Your thoughts, and what is the perfect gift for a guy for Valentine's Day?
I think every single guy, Kay, for Valentine's Day, first and foremost, just wants happiness from their partner. That's thoroughly what it is. Just like every single show, Kay, I can feel like I'm having a bad show, but if I look at you and you're having a great show and you're like, hey, you know what, that was really good, I feel good on the inside. It's just all about the happiness from the other person. That's what it matters on Valentine's Day.
Can I send you flowers, though, is my thing. Like, can I send my Valentine's Day date flowers to his office?
Absolutely.
Or is that like, really?
Listen, I know your Valentine's Day date, and I think that he would be over the moon if you got him flowers. I think that would make him so happy.
Okay. So you like Valentine's Day. That wasn't very insightful. Basically, you said that you want me to be happy.
I like Valentine's Day. It doesn't mean I'm good at Valentine's Day. I am the exact opposite, if anything. I have had nothing but failure after failure after failure on Valentine's Day.
Now we're getting into it.
Hey, it is what it is.
Do you have a date? Do you have a date tonight?
I don't have a date tonight, and I'm so happy I don't. Happy Valentine's Day.